I got it bad for you, so baby. Please come on over.
Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. I'm ep.nash, or just Nash, and I am posting my film and television project to YouTube. We'll have definitely a huge trigger warning for mentions of sexual assault and rape. So if you're not comfortable with that, you can either skip over the parts or just skip over the video in total. I will be doing a speed paint while I talk about Sweeney Todd, Demon Barber of Fleet Street, the 2007 film directed by Tim Burton, and the Shakespearean play Romeo and Juliet. While having shared themes, they also have a shared history of being plays and or musicals in Sweeney Todd's case before they were ever movies. Tim Burton's very own movie style is very well known, very distinct. Sweeney Todd's overall film and lighting palette is very dark, but during flashbacks it's very light and beautiful. The themes commonly shared by both: the destructive nature of hatred and revenge, societal pressures, and while also examining the power of love and consequences of unchecked passion. The destructive nature of hatred and revenge. In Romeo and Juliet, the feud between the Montagues and the Capulets have a part to play in what happens, leading to the heartbreaking deaths of Romeo and Juliet, as well as Marcel and Tybalt. The hatred is so intense that it blinds the families to the possibility of peace and understanding of each other. Friar Lawrence thinks the marriage between Romeo and Juliet shall bring the families together. Marcel and Benvolio run into Tybalt to see if they can find Romeo because he wants to duel with him, but ends up dueling with Marcel instead when Romeo gets there. He watches as Marcel dies, causing Romeo to duel Tybalt and ended up killing him. As Romeo flees and Benvolio stays to explain to the prince what happened, the prince decides to banish Romeo, or he shall be exiled. Juliet is heartbroken when she finds out. Now looking at Sweeney Todd. Todd's relentless pursuit of revenge against those who wronged him, being Judge Turpin and Beetle, leads to the cycle of violence and death, ultimately destroying him. Like in The Broken Mirror, where the song Wait, where Mrs. Lovett is singing, and those around him, for example, throwing Lovett into the fire, as her screams are heard as she burns alive. His desire for retribution comes and prevents him from finding peace and happiness, especially after he found out he killed his beloved Lucy. The next shared theme is the power of love and its consequences. In Romeo and Juliet, their love is very passionate and intense. Literally getting married the night after they met, around when they first met and first kissed, which wasn't a lot of time, but seemed pretty normal back then, even though she was supposed to fall in love with Paris. It was already extremely doomed from the start because of their family's long-term rivalry, leading to them both taking their lives because they couldn't be together in life. The love between Romeo and Juliet is strong, but didn't save him like it would in any Disney princess movie. Their strong relationship is a sight to watch, which is why they're known as star-crossed lovers. And the fact of they couldn't survive without each other because Romeo had drinking actual poison when he thought Juliet had drank actual poison, but fake poison. After their deaths, their families set aside their differences. Sweeney Todd is primarily a story about revenge. The musical and the movie explores the power of love and connection between Sweeney Todd and Lucy and the love of Anthony and Joanna. Sorry, I had to. It explores some of the loves in a twisted way. The relationship between Sweeney Todd, while he was Benjamin Barker, and his wife, Lucy, before trigger warning for sexual assault and rape, before she was raped by Judge Turpin, which is explained to in the song Poor Thing. The scene was directed as it was supposed to be a spectacular event, as Lucy goes up to Judge Turpin's because Beadle said he was going to apologize to her. But instead, she became a shell of her former self, leading to her drinking poison and quote-unquote killing herself, as Mrs. Lovett describes in the song, when in reality the poison just made her a crazy poor old woman. By the end of the film, Sweeney Todd ended up killing Lucy, not recognizing her. She asked, "That I know you," before he slit her throat. Once he found out that Mrs. Lovett had lied, he pulls her into a passionate dance, she thinking that she won his heart, while in reality, he throws her into the oven and lets her burn before letting Toby kill him. There is not only the love triangle between Lovett, Sweeney Todd / Barker, and Lucy, unbeknownst to her, of course, but also the romance between Joanna and Anthony, as he sings about trying to take her away from Judge Turpin, who raised her and now is planning on trying to marry her, which she and Anthony do not want. Though Anthony has been beaten down and threatened by Judge Turpin, Anthony manages to take her away from him because he has died due to the revenge of Barker. The second to last theme is societal pressure and the loss of individuality. Romeo and Juliet are trapped by their family's expectations and the rigid social structures of Verona. Their families are in constant conflict. And the violence of Romeo and Juliet are forced between their love for each other and their family obligations to not upset their families, leading to Juliet getting out of a marriage with Paris because she was already married to Romeo and faking her death before Romeo drinks poison, ending up killing himself. She wakes up, tries to kiss him to get some of the poison, and she ends up stabbing herself with the blade instead. Sweeney Todd takes place in 19th century London. He is seen as an outsider. The social injustice and dehumanizing effects of poverty and oppression. The film highlights how rich society took advantage of the poor, showing how Turpin's power and control ended up costing Benjamin Barker everything, turning him into Sweeney Todd. In the flashback scenes of Sweeney Todd and his wife Lucy, once happy, before skipping to the present film becoming more grainy, discolored, showing that he's lost everything. While Mr. T is singing Epiphany, it's showing how he sees everyone as fitting to die, like cattle to a slaughterhouse. Last but not least, the consequences of unchecked passion. Romeo and Juliet explores the dangers of unchecked passion, whether it be love in the two star-crossed lovers' cases, or the hate shown by the family rivalry. Their love leads to the impulsive actions of them getting married to each other, Romeo's revenge killing against Tybalt, before leading to their deaths. Sweeney Todd's rage and desire for revenge consume and engulf him, leading him to commit increasingly violent acts of killing random strangers by slitting their throats for Levitt's pies, eventually leading him to accidentally killing his beloved wife Lucy. As the music indicates that it was her who died and she was the random lady, Sweeney then kills Mrs. Levitt before letting Toby slice his own throat. Looking at a question my teacher asked, how does the visual style, cinematography, or use of sound reinforce thematic connections? Like Shakespeare with writing about comedy, tragedy, romances, and historical plays, Tim Burton also has a certain movie style that's more dark and has the feeling of romantic goth visuals. When going into flashbacks in the movie, they're more vibrant and beautiful, looking like a daydream, even if depicting something extremely disturbing, while in present tense, the film is dark and gloomy. The only time when the film was not dark and gloomy in the present tense is when the song By the Sea was playing, where Mrs. Levitt and Sweeney Todd are walking along a beautiful, more bright-colored shore. Their outfits are more brightly covered, as it depicts a wedding, and them just having a house by the beach. In both endings of Romeo and Juliet and Sweeney Todd, the main characters die feeling like they failed or feeling empty, like in Todd's case, because he ended up having nothing to live for, after the love of his life died, while Juliet did the same thing with Romeo and stabbing herself. Thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And always ask some questions in the comments. I will do my best to get back to you, but for now, Nash out. Yes, I'm also sorry I haven't posted in a while. I got busy because I'm in college.
And on we'll go.